Wester, is another guy. And so we watched his returns, impressive. Watched him as a receiver, looked at his production, very impressive.
And then you compound that on the fact that, hey, Lejante pretty nice. Lejante Wester hasn't just come onto the Ravens OTAs and just been a rookie 6th-round wide receiver. He's honestly been taking a lot of people by surprise. He's been one of the top 10 first people to jump off the page, according to people at Baltimore OTAs, and he's someone that people continue to follow closely, not just because of his ties to Coach Prime, because he really has a good opportunity to add some depth to a Ravens offense that, hey, any more weapons they can get to help Lamar Jackson, it's only going to help them. So in today, we're going to check on a few things. Not a lot of footage from Lajohntay. Again, he is a 6th-round pick, so, you know what I'm saying, they're not, giving him as much praise as I know Colorado fans want to see, but we'll sort of check on him. But more importantly, Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta had some words about Lajohntay a few days back, so we're going to listen to that as well. And then after that, we're going to check in on the general OTA clips. We got some stuff from, the Lamar Jackson's reporting. We got some offensive line. We got Mike Green, another rookie as well, getting some things going. And then I'm going to read you a little article about the Ravens wide receiver room as it stands coming into June so far. Just the way that some of the Sports Illustrated people look at it, and then as well as some of the odds of the Baltimore, how they run the ball, and kind of where Lajohntay can get in, where he fits in, man. I appreciate y'all watching this video so much. Go ahead and leave a like on it if you like it. Dislike the video if you don't like it. Subscribe if you enjoy football content of all shapes and sizes. Don't worry, there's college football stuff coming soon. The House element just passed, so a video coming on that soon. Be on the lookout for that. But let's get into Lajohntay. This is all we got, sadly. It's just him working the jugs, which is a good thing because we know how Lajohntay gets down. He's a hard worker's hard worker. He works harder than the hardest worker that you know, big guy, okay? I think last video we were talking about OTAs, the only clip I had of Lajohntay was literally him doing a private workout, putting in extra pain, putting in extra work. That is the type of person that Lajohntay is, and Ravens GM, Eric DeCosta, I think shares some of those same sentiments.
Wester, is another guy. So we talked to Chris Horton and said, Chris, rank these guys. Who are the best returners? Mm-hmm. And he came back with Wester as being one of the very best. And so we watched his returns, impressive. Watched him as a receiver, looked at his production, very impressive. Mm-hmm. And I think it's when you see a guy, and I call this the Addison phenomenon, like Jordan Addison had been at Pitt as a receiver and had great production, basically I don't know how many catches, but 80 catches a year at Pitt, right? Mm-hmm. It goes to USC. It's hard to go to a new school, right? Think about when we were freshmen in high school. Think about when we were freshmen in college, right? There's an acclimation. It's hard. Mm-hmm. He goes to USC first year and has an amazing season at USC. So when I look at Wester, I see the same kind of thing.
Right.
I see a first-year player at Colorado who goes there and has a great season. He's a talented receiver, excellent return man. I'm excited about him. We've had great success with South Florida players, and very excited about him.
Absolutely. Shout out to Lajohntay, South Florida ties. But no, man, I think that, not to bore you and say the same thing that I've said on multiple of these Lajohntay videos, but the thing that separates Lajohntay from a lot of the wide receivers in that wide receiver room besides Travis Hunter is that he was a safety blanket. Shedeur was looking to throw to Lajohntay, looking for him to do some dirty work underneath, or how about just not win the game, but save the game on a Hail Mary, So he's somebody who was tasked to do with a lot of things, has some explosive moments in the return game. So when you speak about his mindset of wanting to always work, wanting to be there, be available, and just do the best that he can to make sure that he can live out these NFL dreams. And then you compound that on the fact that, hey, Lajohntay pretty nice. I think it's going to be hard to keep Lajohntay off of the Ravens team. You know what I mean? Whether it's return, whether it's, hey, some you get a little situation there at the wide receiver room. Maybe we get a little, some touches, maybe get some gadget passes. I think there's enough space for Lajohntay to fit in. But let's talk about that space. And before we do that, actually, we're going to get into some of these OTA clips. So shout out to Devo Highlights. I'm sure if you've been watching football long enough on YouTube, you know about Devo Highlights. He does all the preseason stuff. He has a lot of good stuff. I don't use him a lot, only when I can't find any clips. And I literally used this because I was like, is there any more Lejante Wester clips? If there is, He's going to find it. Shout out Rashad Bateman. He recently signed that nice extension. And obviously the article we're going to read into and talk about is kind of the reformation and the building of this wide receiver room. 2 years ago, if you talked about the Baltimore Ravens, you're talking about a team that was probably the wide receiver room, especially on the offensive side, was the weakest part of that offense. But now you're getting to the point where there's a lot of depth. There's some dynamicism, not dynamism. And we're saying about all these, Rashad Bateman and, of course, Zay Flowers and Lajohntay. We hadn't even talked about DeAndre Hopkins. I wouldn't say, I'm a Texans fan, so I think he's the big dog. But one of the bigger dogs, a veteran, a guy who's going to bring a lot of, juice in different ways and spaces in operations. Obviously, a little tall, a little bit of a bigger body guy. Go up and get it. And, obviously, Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers are a little different of either take the top off or get underneath and really get nice. Oh, I saw Lajohntay. Oh, there goes Lajohntay again. There he is again. We're getting small little snippets of him. But yeah, and Ravens fans, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's not just Rashad Bateman, DeAndre, Lajohntay. Like there's some more flavors in there. So this is a loaded wide receiver room as they go in and do some wide receiver drills there. This is a loaded wide receiver room as it seemed, at least on paper. We'll see how they get utilized and how well everything gets utilized. Is that Lajohntay? Oh, no, that's 8-2. That's 82, not 83. Is this? No, that's Bateman. We're going to get to see Lajohntay in this one. Bateman, get out of there. Oh, no, don't pan away. I think Lajohntay was what y'all doing, man? Give my man Lajohntay some burn. Oh, yeah, y'all don't want to be great. There's 8-6, that's 18. Ugh, right there. Obviously, Rashad Bateman. They say Flowers. Sit it down. Get through there. Get through contact. Good drills. Good stuff. Again, y'all make sure y'all follow Devo. What's it called? He does a lot of good stuff. He's been around for a long time. He always has some stuff. He even does some in-season things. So he's great if you want to see the clips that you need to see from the football perspective. So you know what I'm saying? Them boys going crazy. There go Lajohntay, no helmet. Lajohntay, no helmet. And then we have a little bit more here too. This is going to be just general OTA stuff. So you got some of the big bodies. You got some of the small bodies. You got to make sure a body's in there. Obviously, right now, you're just seeing big bodies. There is another body. Who's that? Is that Isaiah Likely? It does look so. Looks like the defensive line getting their punches in. Hey. The QBs, obviously, Lamar Jackson missed a day. I think he wasn't there until day 4 of OTAs. So, give some of the young quarterbacks some shine. Nate Wiggins looking to capitalize on his amazing rookie campaign. Clemson guy. Oh, who is that? Chucky on the grinds, huh? A little situation. Interesting how, obviously he had a interesting fall off with his coaching situation, but it seems like NFL people and football people just love him. So I think that's something that's you got to kind of point out. There goes Mike Green, the controversial second overall or second round pick for the Ravens. I think he's going to play some good football, but you do have to acknowledge the interesting history that he has. That boy got a lengthier pass than Drake, boy. I'm just saying, just the connection to assault, dog. Just keep an eye on him, okay? Just keep an eye on him because that boy been having reports since high school. Let's get into it though. Let's get into some reports. This is from Sports Illustrated, the Baltimore Ravens wing edition situation, and they're gonna kind of speak about the Baltimore wide receiver room, and then after this, we'll get into some extra clips because we got them. So the Baltimore Ravens wide receiver room is probably in better shape than it's ever been with Lamar Jackson at quarterback between Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and newcomer D-Hop, Nuke, DeBomb. Obviously doesn't say that, but they have a capable, versatile top 3 that can consistently make big plays. Obviously underneath, down the field, stretch the field. DeAndre's going to catch everything you need. It doesn't stop there, however. Baltimore also has a few depth receivers who are looking to make a name for themselves, and 2 of them are already doing so. So, following the first week of OTAs, Raven team reporter Ryan Mink listed both second-year pro Devontae Walker and rookie Lejante Wester among his 10 standouts so far. Walker had 1 catch as a rookie, a 21-yard touchdown against the New Orleans Giants, the New York Giants. If Wednesday's practice is any indication, he could have a somewhat larger role in 2025. Mink wrote he was a busy man and made an impressive touchdown catch in the back of the end zone. Wester can fly. We knew that. And he showed that hauling in a long touchdown pass. He juggled it at first, but held on for the score, Mink wrote. The 6th-round pick also made a tough grab over the middle, despite the pass being tipped by undrafted linebacker Jay Higgins. So look, Lajohntay, and we talked a little bit about the tip pass because that was in the last article we wrote in the last Lajohntay video, but I cannot stress how important it is to be a 6th-round pick and to take every single opportunity that you can, right? It's not just about, you play football. So sometimes if you play football, you play sports, especially in practice, especially if you're a 2nd string, 3rd stringer, you kind of got to pray that you're going to get in a predicament like that where you can kind of show, hey, I'm not just a receiver, right? I can show you I can run a route every single route. I can show you I can catch every single time you throw the ball to me, but how often can you show, oh no, but I also have elite concentration, right? I also can keep a play alive, right? I also, I can juggle the ball. I can do these things in different ways, and my ball skills are another level that you might not have been able to show as a 6th-round pick who doesn't get as many touches. So shout out to Lajohntay for being able to get those opportunities and making the most out of them. So in 2024, 4th-round pick from North Carolina, Walker, we're talking about the other standout, as didn't have quite the impact. Hey, man. Everybody can't be Lajohntay, man. He hoped for in his rookie season. Oh, sorry, my fault. Particularly due to an injury he suffered in the preseason. He showed in his lone season with the Tar Heels that he can be an impact player, hauling in 41 passes for 699 yards and 7 touchdowns in 8 games. With better health and a year of experience under his belt, perhaps he could be a standout in year 2. A 2025 6th-round pick from Colorado, Wester is already a strong candidate to return to punts for the Ravens, much like he did in college. The question comes in whether or not he can break through on the offensive side of the field. He may be very small at 5'9", 170. Can y'all stop with the mixed reporting? Sometimes some people say Lajohntay is 5'8", some people say he's 5'10". Now I'm seeing 5'9", whatever. But his blistering speed could give him an edge, and it seems like he's already making the best of it. Making the best of it is something that Lajohntay does better than anyone else. It may be tough for depth receivers to earn much playing time in Baltimore's run-heavy offense, but the more weapons Lamar Jackson has, the merrier. And I wanted to point this out. This is kind of what I was alluding to at the beginning of before reading this article. And by the way, first off, welcome to the channel. If you're new, if you're watching, we do weekly breakdowns when the season happens. We did it for college football. And I think we're going to have to do it for the NFL this year. I'm saying that to say that when we do that, we often look at ranks, right? And we look at some of the tendencies of these teams to kind of project not just wins and losses, but hey, what is going to be the defining thing that's going to break or bend this matchup, right? In doing so, I have the knowledge of this website, and I pulled it up, and I want to show you that out of 2024, the only team with a higher rushing percentage on plays is the Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. And you have to take into account, obviously Lamar Jackson also runs, but you have to take into account that, Philadelphia was known for the tush push, and that adds up its own, level of, heightness and just running the ball. So 56%, just underneath 53.55% for Baltimore in 2024. Obviously, I do want to, this is going to be a separate video for a separate day, but this is one of my NFL theories. As you see, last 3 games, all of them have an increase in how much they're running the ball, even though you see that they already have a high increase. That's because I think running the ball wins playoff games, and that wins championships. Separate rant for another day. We're not going to get into it. But what I will get into is that, look, the odds are stacked in Lajohntay's favor or against Lajohntay when it comes to making an impact on the offense, not just because of what Lajohntay can do, right? Lajohntay can do everything in his power, which he certainly has. Obviously, y'all remember him ranking right here, top 5 when it comes to the fastest players on the board for OTAs, 19.9 miles an hour, right? So clearly he's doing everything in his power, but it might just only lead to being a punt returner because that wide receiver room is not just starting to get a little crowded, but you got Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Dog, we gonna run the ball. Like let's be honest with you. And running the ball wins games, it wins championships, and I think it really allows teams to survive when we talk about the offseason. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, how does the head coach feel about his touch and go? Basically attendance at OTAs. Obviously, early on when we were talking about Lajohntay, a big theme for the Ravens was that actually they had some of the best OTA attendance they've had in a long time. But these are some vets at this point. Lamar got a nice big bag. So this is what the head coach has to say about him missing some OTAs.
I'm not taking any position on it. Judging it, whatever. Lamar, the day he was out here, played great. I could see he was in great shape. Threw the ball great, made the reads, knew the offense excellent in an excellent kind of way. I thought he was fantastic. And when he comes back and practices, when that happens, I expect them to play at that level. That's what you measure. You measure for any player is how they play. I'm not measuring, really the attendance. I mean, it's a voluntary camp, so I'm not measuring that. I mean, I love being out here, and I think all the players do. When Lamar's out here, I promise you, he loves being out here. You could see it when he was out here. So he's my guy. I love him. I can't wait to just get into this season and get going.
Look, the reason you're watching this channel is the same reason why he has to answer questions like this, right? You and me, right? You and me, just a little secret. We like football a little too much, okay? We watch football in the offseason. We're wanting news in the offseason. We want to do these things. We are not the average bear when it comes to football, right? So these questions of, oh, my God, in this, OTA, which is completely voluntary, we do this like every year. I've been watching the NFL for a while, dog. I'm not the oldest dog in the barn, but I've seen this for more than a few decades, ESPN, NFL. And it's just like, oh, my God, this player didn't show up to OTAs. Oh, my God, he didn't show up to a voluntary OTA. Oh, my God. It's like, dog, can we start? We can do that and be hyperbolic. Can we at least do it when it's not non-voluntary, when it's, what do you call it? Mandatory? Because at that point, now we can start inferring some things. And I get it. Voluntary doesn't really mean voluntary in the NFL, yada, yada, yada. But before we start jumping up and down, when somebody's an 8-9, whatever year vet, right? We talk about Myles Garrett because I've been obviously covering a lot of Shedeur Sanders, and he didn't show up to OTAs, blah, blah, blah. Myles Garrett is I don't know how, at this point, how many years he's been in the league. And not just been in the league, how many years has he been one of the best or one or two or top three defensive players in the league? I think that he can take some OTAs off. I think he knows what he's doing. What's his name? Not Harrison. The edge, Harrison Riddick. I think that's his name. I think that's his name for Baltimore, not for Baltimore, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, previously of the Philadelphia Eagles. That big thing is like, oh my God, he's not showing up, and I think he even had a problem going into the season about not showing up. And and then it comes out that he's working out. And then the Stephon Diggs, we did a Stephon Diggs video, and they're tripping about him with his pink Tusi or whatever they got going on. I don't know what's happening on the boat. That he handing out booger sugar on a boat. And then you find out 2 minutes after that he was working out. So I say all that to say, look, we have to afford the super athletes some super athlete grace, okay? I think Lamar can miss some days. He'll be okay. I think Stephon Diggs' body can handle a little bit of that pink nasty, all right, and get back into the game. Once we start missing mandatory, once we start, making cryptic messages on Instagram, I think we can start inferring. But, dog, I think you and me and this reporter, we just enjoy football too much, and we're way too locked into it that the fact that every single year voluntary workouts become a problem. But, hey, that is what that is. Let's check out on a few different clips from OTAs, then we're going to get up out of here. We got Mike Green, obviously second-round pick, somebody who propelled up to first-round status, top 15 pick levels coming out of Marshall. He is the most productive edge player out of last year. He totaled the most sacks, even though he was playing for a MAC school. Did some great things there. Not so great things reportedly off the field, obviously, that's where his draft stock fell as an assault case came out. I'm going to just say it like that. But when we looked into it, I'm not sure if y'all remember that video, he's had multiple since, I think Virginia Tech, and then going all the way back to high school. So with that situation, I am not some person who is guilty until proven innocent. That's not me. But I am somebody who's like, hey, let's recognize some patterns here. So for him to have a lengthy, history of inappropriately, or at least having reports of him inappropriately touching people, I would scratch our heads. I would just be like, hey, maybe third round at least. But I just, hey, that's where we are. I really hope those are lies, because the best thing there is that means that no one did get affected by that. And then on two, or bigger than that, that means that he's not doing any of those things. So I really hope the best for Mike Green, because that boy can play some foosball, son. But that's it. We're not gonna get deeper into the extra clips. If we do, we can. If y'all want a more general update on the Baltimore Ravens, really wanted to focus on Lajohntay in that wide receiver room and kind of what's going on with the quarterback situation. Lots of talking, and lots of people bored, wanting to watch football. And hey, if we weren't bored and didn't want to watch football, we wouldn't be watching this channel. So I thank you so much for being bored and loving football even more than me. I think y'all love football more than me, because you listen to me yap about it. So you're the real soldiers. Appreciate it. Keep it up. Wish Lajohntay the best. Wish the Ravens the best. As long as they don't touch my Texans, all right? everything should be good. More importantly, please like this video. Go ahead and like that like button. Go ahead and like that subscribe or touch that subscribe button. Hit the bell icon not to miss anything. Remember that you are great, so continue to be great. Man, I promise you, we're going to see you next time the sun shines.